Hello everyone, this is the SaltyBunny and today, for you, I have another video nobody asked for. As we play Azur, we often overlook that most of the game is grounded in actual historical events, ships, weapons etc. All that, sprinkled with some fiction over a science fiction backdrop. Somewhere along the World War II war stories and legends, one will stumble upon some particularly interesting tale, and today we will delve into one of those. In many commanders' category, there's this obviously iron-blood cat fellow Meowficer named Oscar. That cat have the skill Unsinkable Oscar, focused on improving battleships of all flavors. Would you be surprised if I told you that this Meowficer is based on an actual history of sorts? You're not surprised? Oh. Well, let's dive into this anyways. Like the last time we went together back in time, today we are taking a look at another legend surrounding, at least in part, Battleship Bismarck. There was a black and white cat serving aboard the German battleship Bismarck when she set sail on its infamous mission in May 1941. I have to mention at this point that having a cat aboard a ship was not too uncommon in the past. There are many documented ships cats being on trading vessels, exploration ships and naval ships throughout history. A famous example of that is Blackie, sailing on HMS Prince of Wales, who got befriended by Winston Churchill, but I digress. When Bismarck set sail for Operation Rheinübung in May 1941, she was manned by 2,200 officers and servicemen, including the black and white cat. However, during the Battle of the Denmark Strait, as we've seen in previous videos, Bismarck was engaged by British forces, resulting in the ship's sinking on May 27, 1941. In the aftermath of the sinking, out of 2,200 officers and servicemen aboard the battleship, only 114 survived, and one of them was the cat. As the legend goes, HMS Cossack, a tribal-class destroyer involved in the battle, began attempting to rescue survivors of the lost Bismarck in the open sea. Crew members spotted the lucky cat as it was seeking refuge on a floating plank. The feline then was brought aboard HMS Cossack and given the name Oscar, which is also sometimes spelled with a K because of his German origins. Oscar's journey didn't end there. In October 1941, HMS Cossack was torpedoed by a German U-boat in the Mediterranean. Despite the ship's sinking, Oscar once again survived and was rescued by sailors from HMS Legion, another British destroyer, and brought to Gibraltar. It was there that, after surviving the sinking of two ships from opposite sides of the conflict, Oscar became known as Unsinkable Sam. This is the origin of the Meowficer's skill name in Azur. I suppose for consistency purpose, the skill was renamed to Unsinkable Oscar. So, in Gibraltar, the cat was adopted and became HMS Ark Royal's ship cat. Unfortunately, the carrier was torpedoed and sunk a few months later in November of that same year. This is not still the end of the story. For the third time, the cat was rescued and brought back to Gibraltar. I can safely affirm that sailors are far from being immune to superstitions, and, at this point, it was debated if the cat was an omen of danger or not after being involved in that many sinking. After living briefly at the offices of the governor of Gibraltar, it is said that a seaman adopted him and transported him to Belfast, where Oscar lived a quiet life until he died in 1955. After having spent at least 3 out of 9 of its lives in sinking ships, being a full-time mouse hunter in Ireland was not a bad deal for Oscar, I suppose. The story of Unsinkable Sam became a popular legend, symbolizing the resilience and survival instinct of animals in wartime. While some details of Oscar's story are more than likely embellished or disputed, his tale has become an enduring part of naval folklore. But is any of this true? Hard to say. The historicity of Unsinkable Sam is difficult to confirm. It is highly possible that there was a black and white cat on Bismarck, but for the rest of the legend, Some authorities question whether the cat's biography might be a sea story. Certain pieces of evidences are showing inconsistencies, notably, the pictures of the cats identified as unsinkable Sam, and none of them dates from Bismarck service time. One good example of that is the photographs seen almost everywhere, including bottles of beer, are not from Oscar but in reality are photographs of a very similar looking cat. Simon, HMS Amethyst's ship cat, is more than often shown and misidentified as Oscar. However, I might add that the cat depicted on the Mad Cat beer is not from Simon, but its depiction is more consistent with the pastel painting of Oscar. We can clearly identify Simon's name and ship on its round choker's medal. A proof of sorts is that, so far, in this video, not one picture shown was of the Bismarck's ship cat Oscar. Through my research I could not find one single picture from the cat while it was on Bismarck. There is also no mention of the cat rescue in Ludovic Kennedy's detailed account of the sinking of the Bismarck, suggesting that information later gleaned from sailors regarding the cat's true service was sketchy at best. There were only a limited number of human survivors, 114 in total. There is also the fact that the British Navy had to abandon the rescue effort as the sea conditions were not ideal and that it was rightfully believed to be U-boats in the area. As we've learned in the certificate of sponsorship video, U-74 was heading on the scene, directed by U-556 instructions relayed in the morning of the 27th of May. We have to remember that the weather on the 26th and 27th of May was sufficiently bad that it prevented the Luftwaffe to intervene during the action. It is difficult to believe that a cat would have been able to survive, clutching at a piece of wood on such seas, let alone for the rushed crews of HMS Cossack to spot the cat among the wreckage in such conditions. U-556 weather report noted that at midnight they had moderate visibility and rain squalls. And at 4 a.m. they noted that the seas were rising even higher. Perhaps Oscar's tale is just a big embellished legend. However, a pastel portrait of Sam, titled Oscar, the Bismarck's cat, by the artist Georgina Shaw-Baker is in the possession of the National Maritime Museum in Greenwich. Was that been made out of inspiration or was it modeled from the real cat Oscar? Don't know. But for us commanders, all that really matters is that Oscar made it into Azur Lane as Oscar the Meowficer, and is one of the best battleship support cat with his unsinkable skill. This is pretty much it for this short fact of fiction video about Oscar the cat. A quick note, we do have a small guild on Lexington server, so, if you are looking for one, feel free to join us. Infos are in the description. Well, that's it for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below. You can also like and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did not really cared about any of this stuff, thank you for watching and reaching this point. This was the SaltyBunny and thank you for watching the video. We're done for now.